been an interesting kind of week in the market. It's been an interesting few months in the markets. Quite boring. A lot of sideways chop for a period of time now. Waiting for the market to make a decision for, again, a couple of months probably.
Yep.
It's made a decision over the last couple of hours, really. 12 hours we've made a decision. Bitcoin has kind of sold off 5%, putting us under 60k US for the first time in about 4.5 weeks. But the way it's kind of happened has been quite volatile. That's something that I think a lot of people were kind of waiting for the market to make that decision. It's made it now. And there's some kind of news catalysts globally that are kind of potentially paying into it that I think we'll speak to in a minute.
No, absolutely. I think that's the key news to cover off on the market this week. Bitcoin below 60k. Wanted to touch on a few reasons for this. Like Pav always brings up the ETF inflows, outflows. So I thought we'd look at that first. And it's not looking good. So looking in this total column, this kind of combines all the asset manager ETFs combined. And you'll see in the last sort of week and a half, you're basically seeing just all red, like
outflows.
All outflows. So all pretty much selling Bitcoin, which is obviously going to have a impact on the price. So the most recent day we have was outflows of 105 million. Before that, 139 million. So it's been a while since we've had a couple of good days of inflows. The Mt. Gox news. I think me and Chris touched on this last week, and I think we actually got it wrong where we said we thought it was already out. So it's not, the repayments aren't set to start until July. But obviously, that's in less than a week now. And so, I think people are probably getting a bit of fear, uncertainty, doubt around that. Obviously, there's $9 billion in repayments that they got to offer users who were essentially involved in the hack of Mt. Gox.
Not an insignificant amount.
Yes, quite a large amount, and obviously, like people who were hacked then had money on the exchange, or had Bitcoin. Now they're getting repaid, and it's been 10 years. The price of Bitcoin has changed considerably, to the upside. So, if it was me, I'd probably look to sell off a bit. And
there's an assumption people will take some risk off the table. They've been waiting 10 years for it. So.
But you told me just before this, you got a bit of a story of
Mt. Gox. I mean, it's not much of a story. It's I did have Bitcoin on Mt. Gox up to about 2 weeks before it collapsed. So
Mystic Tommy.
I wouldn't go that far. So I had a similar actually case with Cryptopia in New Zealand before they collapsed. Again, it was about a month before. I think I was buying some like speculative coins on Cryptopia. They had a lot of early stage listings at that point. So I got pretty close with that one. But
did you just get a
just follow my wallets?
Yeah,
I'll post the addresses of all my wallets today. No, I won't. But no, look, it's just a bit of luck, mate. Definitely not. No great insights there. Some new options were coming on the market at the right time to start to move funds around, I think, really. So.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I'm assuming there'll be a lot of happy people who did lose a few Bitcoin on that exchange, now worth a lot more, considering they probably would have cashed out at a few stages before this.
The force hodl.
How good's that? Almost a blessing in disguise, you could argue. But 9 billion, so pretty considerable amounts. And then the last thing I want to touch on that's a little bit more sort of not talked about as much as the previous 2 points is Bitcoin miners selling off. So there's a bit to unpack here. So miners tend to build up a bit of a treasury during the good times to kind of, maintain them when things aren't so good. And so the good times for miners are a bit different from the good times for us who are, traders and investors of Bitcoin. So essentially, miners, a lot of their revenue is made from the issuance of new Bitcoin that is, created and then is given to them because of the process of mining. But obviously, we had the Bitcoin halving recently, which resulted in their revenue essentially getting cut in half. Like they get fees as well, but the majority of their revenue does come from that issuance. And so often after halving, you will start to see miners sell off some of their Bitcoin to sort of stay afloat. As you can see from this chart up here, that orange part is issuance in BTC, and then you can see the issuance in USD. And after each halving, it seems to drop quite considerably, obviously because they're getting less and less Bitcoin every time. And so, there's the selling off pressure from the miners, there's selling off pressure from Mt. Gox, and then also outflows from the ETFs.